So what you're not talking about or not outlining is that in a way, all of these that I heard, there is a hidden hustle and a hidden jugaad which is already there.
Yeah.
So now, I want to ask you this because this has really been talked about a lot. I believe jugaad is inherent in us as Indians. वो day one से आ जाता है, पैदाइशी हमारे खून के अंदर जुगाड़ है. But hustle to a great extent can be overrated or underestimated. Now, when you give this early example, right, and I'm going to take you back right to this early example that you gave. Take us to what and how in your mind the evolution of hustle was. How do you see it later on in life help you out hustle much larger things? Do you believe, like I have a very dear friend of mine who turns around and says, I don't understand hustle. Hard work is hustle. Very simple. The hustle is overrated. I have another friend of mine who says hustle is everything. Hard work is plain vanilla. You're supposed to do hard work. Everybody does hard work. It's that 1% delta what hustle is about. Everyone has a different definition. What's yours?
You know, honestly, I don't really actually believe in jugaad and hustle per se, right? I believe in getting, in thinking big and getting stuff done.
Okay.
Right? And in a way where some things can be done in a way that just need you to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
Right? And that might be the more jugaadu, like, bas fit kar diya, ho gaya, right? And they do it fast, like agility is the need of the hour. And some things are more long term. You know, for instance, you're building culture in an organization, right? Wo hustle, you can't hustle culture.
Obviously.
Correct. So I think.
But to come to culture, perhaps you have to hustle to bring the organization to the sites to where culture actually
So again,
matters.
I think the one learning I've had personally over time, interestingly enough, Vinayak, is that if you really want to build solid foundations, right? You have to identify what solid foundations are made for you in that particular context, because context will keep on changing, and then figure out उसमें क्या जुगाड़ना पड़ेगा and क्या actually you have to put in that time, put in that effort, put in that energy, right? It needs to get to that outcome. So for me, I mean, I'm not honestly a big fan, and I've seen like a lot of like this, you know, India celebrated for being like jugaad nation and all. I think that's, you know, we need to really introspect and say, how are we building a really rock solid base from a startup? Like, there's too much stuff now happening on governance and these conversations in startups, right? Where did that come from? This whole thing about celebrating hustle, celebrating jugaad, doing whatever it takes to get to wherever you need to get to. We need to take a step back and say, like, are we building solid foundations? Because when you have solid foundations, you can fly much higher.
And also, we'll come to that because that's a very sensitive and important topic, because also it's about keeping greed in check.
100%.
And greed is directly proportional to success. So we'll come to that because that is a very, very relevant
and by the way, I'm not saying that doesn't mean I'm not agile.
Of course.
It doesn't mean my team is not agile. It doesn't mean we're not speedy. It just means that when we take on things, we identify what things really need speed, and everything does not need speed, or everything does not need immediate, like, just putting things together to make it just work for that particular day.
So structure with agility. Structure
100%.
with
the
thought.
structure that actually supports agility long term.
See, because as a startup, unless you're nimble, you won't survive.
You won't survive.
You won't survive.
So it has to be structure that actually supports and empowers agility.